Humbly hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in a hope, in prayer, we're right here, in a hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise, all of the children rise, elders with wisdom rise, ancestors surround us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in a hope, in prayer, we're right here, in a hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise, up from the wreckage, rise, with tears and with courage, rise, fighting for life we rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise, humbly hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise. We rise, humbly hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in a hope, in prayer, we're right here, in a hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise, all of the children rise, elders with wisdom rise, ancestors surround us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in a hope, in prayer, be divided. Rise with Spirit to guide us. Rise in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise. All of the children rise. Elders with wisdom rise. Ancestors surround us. Rise in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise up from the wreckage. Rise with tears and with courage. Rise fighting for life. We rise in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise. Humbly hearted, rise. Won't be divided, rise. With Spirit to guide us, rise. We rise, humbly hearted, rise. Won't be divided, rise. With Spirit to guide us, rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise. All of the children rise. Elders with wisdom rise. Ancestors surround us. Rise in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in won't be divided. Rise with Spirit to guide us. Rise in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise. All of the children rise.
Ceasefire now.
Ceasefire now.
Ceasefire now.
Ceasefire now.
Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Repeat after me. And it's the first song on your song sheet if you've got it. We will not
We will not
underestimate our power any longer. We know that together we are strong. Like drops of water,
like drops of water.
shape the rocks as they rush.
As they run
Sound great. Down the falls,
down the falls,
we know that together we are strong. All together from the top, here we go. We will not underestimate our power any longer. We know that together we are strong. Like drops of water, shape the rocks, shape the rocks as they rush down the falls, down the falls. We know that together we are strong. We are
Rabbis for Ceasefire is honored to welcome you to the first night of Hanukkah. Tonight we are here exactly 2 months since October 7th. Tonight we are here as a massive coalition of Jews for ceasefire. We are, if not now, we are Jews for racial and economic justice. Ancient rabbis taught that we must Pirsume Nisa, publicize the Hanukkah miracle by placing our lights outside. They cautioned, though, that in times of danger, it was permissible to keep them inside. There is no doubt we are in a horrific time of danger. And we at Rabbis for Ceasefire believe that it's important that nonetheless, and all the more so, we kindle the Hanukkah lights in public. More than ever, we must hold fast to our Jewish traditions. We must gather to fortify ourselves for the fights ahead, aided by the practices of Judaism. We know that many Jews in the ceasefire movement are struggling with how to celebrate Hanukkah this year. We know our friends in Bethlehem have canceled the Christmas celebrations. And yet, it felt important for us to continue with Hanukkah in grief, in rage, and in determination. Tonight, we will light the first light of Hanukkah, and then we will walk you through kavanot, or intentions, for the coming 7 nights. You'll hear from rabbis and other special guests. To get us started, I'm delighted to welcome the actor and playwright, Wallace Shawn. Careful.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
When I was a boy growing up, I absorbed a certain interpretation of American history. And according to that interpretation, peaceful white settlers had repeatedly been attacked by bloodthirsty Indians wielding tomahawks. As far as I understood, there was no reason for those attacks. It was simply in the nature of Indians to attack people. Different types of people were very different. And Indians were not human beings like myself. They were very different. They were cruel, insatiable killers. And so it seemed justifiable for the settlers to kill the Indians. There was no other way to deal with them. Well, I'm older now, and I've learned that killing the indigenous people of North America was a terrible crime. And I've also learned over the years of my life that all of us humans are in fact very much alike. Most humans want to love and be loved. Most humans want to live in peace, have nice meals, and take care of their children. We are all capable of evil, and we are all capable of goodness. Circumstances cause us to behave in different ways. Now, the leaders of Hamas and the government of Benjamin Netanyahu both think that it's sometimes appropriate to slaughter the innocent on the other side. I don't accept that. To me, the massacre of Israelis by Hamas fighters on October the 7th was one of the most evil and hideous crimes of our time. And what is happening now, the Israeli massacre of the people of Gaza, is not only one of the worst and most sadistic crimes of our time, but it goes on and on and on, and we Americans are full participants in it, and this is unbearable. The Jewish people have been tormented for centuries, and this has driven certain Jews into a state of such irrationality that they believe there will be peace if certain people called Hamas are removed from Israel. The Israeli government has apparently forgotten that if you kill someone's family, they're likely to hate you. The problem that's faced by the Jews in Israel-Palestine, the Holy Land, is precisely that they have made themselves hated. On top of all that has been done to the Palestinians since 1948, the current violence will only increase the hatred. Neither Palestinians nor Israelis will leave this territory voluntarily. So unless Netanyahu, backed by the United States, literally hopes to carry out the American solution, to do what the Americans did to the indigenous people of North America, then eventually the Jews of Israel-Palestine and the Palestinian people will have to recognize their common humanity and agree to a way forward. Under one formula or another, the Jews and the Palestinians must live next door to each other, as we all must. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to light the Shamash candle, and we'll be joined from Clergy from Philadelphia, Rabbi Ari Lev Fernari of Kol Tzedek Synagogue in West Philadelphia, and Reverend Hannah Capaldi of First Unitarian Church of Philadelphia. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. My name is Ari Lev Fernari, and I am a rabbi for Ceasefire. While there are 8 nights of Hanukkah, you may notice on this incredibly large and beautiful menorah that there are in fact 9 lights, corresponding to the 9 letters of Ceasefire. It's a sign. There is one special candle that we light every single night, and that is the Shamash. I know many of you are yourselves holding a candle here in Columbus Circle. This candle, the Shamash, is the worker candle, the candle that makes lighting possible, and that makes it possible for all the other candles to burn bright without any other purpose. It's also us. We are each a Shamash, a worker, a person who is of service in this world. We are each called to bring more light and more hope into a growing movement for a just peace in Palestine and Israel. We are here to ignite that growing movement and to call clearly the burning light and the urgent need for a ceasefire. Now, there is a debate in the Talmud about what is the core mitzvah of Hanukkah. Some argue it's the lighting of the menorah itself. After all, the blessing concludes, the one who has instructed us, lahadlik ner shel Chanukah, to light the candles of Hanukkah. But others come forward and argue that it's actually not the lighting of the menorah that's most important, but doing so in public, lefarsem denisa, to actually publicize the miracle and the possibility of miracles, which is what we are here to affirm. That in fact this year, perhaps more than any other year, what's important is not just the lighting of the menorah, but the doing so in public. This is a bold spiritual instruction that orients us towards a very ancient vision of Jewish safety, one in which our safety is had in public, not in isolation. One in which our safety is rooted in interdependence, not in insularity. In a moment when anti-Semitism and Islamophobia are present threats in our community. In a moment when our Jewish institutions are being vandalized and our Muslim neighbors fear for their lives,
We are here to publicly affirm a vision of safety through solidarity, not nationalism. We light our Hanukkah candles in public. We put them in our windows and in our town squares to proudly display our Jewish heritage and to call upon the miracles of this time of year. By lighting in public, we put on display our commitment to solidarity and interdependence, and we turn again and again, as our ancestors have, towards a vision of mutual safety and care. So if you are here with your Shamash, I invite you to lift it up proudly and to light it. We are each here to kindle the lights of Hanukkah and to call together for a ceasefire.
I might need that. Yeah. I am Reverend Hannah Capaldi, and I am clergy for Ceasefire. We belong to each other. We belong to each other, and your safety is my safety. Your well-being is my well-being. And on this first night of Hanukkah, we are reminded that we must not give in to despair, but return again to the relationships which kindle our souls to hope anew. Islamophobia and anti-Semitism take root in the same soil. They must be cast out together to die in the darkness while we light candles to bring warmth and witness to our work. We belong to each other. We belong to each other, and we owe one another something. By simple virtue of having been born, by the simple miracle of having been graced with life now. In this time, it is a gift not to be dismissed. We belong to each other, and I need you to survive. Your freedom is my freedom. Your liberation is my liberation. Our freedom, our liberation, it is all bound up together. And we will not be quiet. We will not be still. We will not be smaller while there are those which threaten to do violence in our name, harm in our name, who belittle that gift of life which we have been given. We belong to each other. And may we find strength and solidarity in this display of public witness. May we take comfort and be filled with hope by the light of this menorah, miracle upon miracles, which blesses us this night. Amen. Amen.
Can we light the Shamash candle on our big menorah? I don't know how to do it, but hopefully somebody does.
Is there a button?
The top button. Let's see. Okay, so. Oh! All right, well, we have the first candle on the Shamash at once.
Perfect.
So the first candle we light for ceasefire. Woo! In the readings that we'll read on Shabbat, this Hanukkah, and every Hanukkah, we recite the words, Lo v'chayil, lo v'choach, ki im beruchi. Not by might, not by power, but by spirit alone. This is the Torah of ceasefire baked into the tradition of Hanukkah. Ceasefire means no more bombing of families in their homes. No more bombing of children in Gaza. Ceasefire means complete hostage exchange, everyone for everyone. Ceasefire means immediate engagement by the international community for a just and lasting peace. There is no military solution. Ceasefire is the only way to prevent more death and destruction.
May we commit ourselves this year to a path of life and away from a path of violence.
Let's bless these.
Here, come over here. Yeah, that looks over good.
Let's bless these candles. If you have candles, check very, very carefully that your neighbors around you are safe and light your Shamash, and let's light this first light. 3 blessings. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem b'azman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Song 2 on your source sheets. May it be a miracle that the Spirit of holiness call us through this time into better times, times of light and peace. Ma'osur Yeshuati lecha na'el leshabeach tikon beit tefilati v'sham toda nezabeach le'etachim nafbeach mizar hamnabeach azegmor v'shir mizmor Chanukah tamizbeach azegmor v'shir mizmor Chanukah tamizbeach.
So now we'll begin previewing the Torah of the coming days of Hanukkah. So for Candle 2, we'll hear from Rabbi Linda Holtzman, the Director of Student Life at the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College.
Thank you. Thank you. This is coming up tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we look at the candles and we remember that in the song Light One Candle, Peter Yarrow writes, "Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand." We can tell you, the peacemaker's time is more than at hand. We will light a candle tomorrow night to proclaim that the peacemaker's time is urgently needed. On Hanukkah, we light candles to shed light on all that is vital right now. There are so many important laws to observe and traditions to celebrate all year, yet there is one law that supersedes all of them. We're told, break any law, violate any tradition for this one thing. do anything that you can for pikuach nefesh, to save a life. Any life, any time, anywhere. Pikuach nefesh, saving a life, is always paramount. We are now witnessing a direct violation of this command in Gaza and also in the West Bank. We are witnessing the killing of thousands of people, of thousands of children. We are witnessing the destruction of so many lives. Some have tried to tell us that it is for pikuach nefesh that the killing of thousands of people in Gaza is necessary. But shame, we know that that's not true. We know that makes no sense. This killing is not self-defense, and it will not keep anyone safe. It neither saves life in the present nor the future. Because as we learn, everyone's life matters. The killing of Palestinians in Gaza, the killings and destruction in the West Bank are ending the possibility of a future for anyone in Israel or Palestine, for anyone. Light one candle for the wisdom to know that the peacemaker's time is at hand. May the candle tomorrow night move us all to commit to creating a world where every life is treasured, where every life is seen as precious. May we all be the peacemakers we sing about. And may we all live the value of pikuach nefesh, of saving life, always holding the value and beauty of every life as sacred.
For candle 3, I'm going to invite up Arab Jewish Rabbi Esther Azar and columnist, journalist, and professor Peter Beinart.
This is treacherous.
My name is Rabbi Esther Azar, and I am a rabbi for Ceasefire. The intention for the third candle is to free the captive. The Slonomer Rebbe teaches that when the Israelites were in Egypt, they were imprisoned in the belly of the beast, unable to tell that they were in captivity. Their trauma was so deep that they lost their voice until God enables them to hear their own groans and recognize their captivity. Today, we can see some of the captives clearly. We see the captives of Hamas and the captives of the Israeli government. And last week we cried tears as we watched some of them be released. And we continue to cry tears as we recognize that many are still in captivity. And we demand their release. Today, we cry out for the speedy and safe return of those still held. I want to bring this third light of Hanukkah, to remove the darkness around the other form of captivity. The captivity of the parts of us in the belly of the beast unable to see. Captive to propaganda. Captive to language that dehumanizes Palestinians and weaponizes Jewish trauma. Captive to trauma that causes us to hear the Palestinian call for freedom as a call for destruction of Jews. Captive to a belief that peace for Israel can be found through genocidal violence. Captive to divide and conquer strategies that pit Jews against each other. Captive to divide and conquer strategies that pit Jews against Palestinians. Today I pray for our freedom from all captivity, seen and unseen. Freedom from the open-air prison of Gaza, freedom from settler violence in the West Bank, freedom from the silencing of voices, and freedom from the intergenerational trauma that recreates cycles of revenge. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim, free the captive.
The Shulchan Aruch, the great code of Jewish law, asserts that there is no act of justice greater than redeeming a captive. It says you can sell the beams of a synagogue to raise the money to redeem a captive. It declares that every moment that one delays in freeing captives is tantamount to murder. So we, who are commanded to imitate God's love and God's mercy, must fight to liberate captives. Hamas's capture of Israelis, including the very young and the very old, on October 7th was unconscionable. It was a war crime. All the Israeli captives must be released immediately. Don't let people tell you that we who oppose this war don't care about the Israeli hostages in Gaza. It's not true. We care profoundly because they are human beings and because they are members of our Jewish family. But we believe, like many of the families of the hostages themselves, that what has saved some of them will save, God willing, all of them, is diplomacy, not this catastrophic war. And because we believe in freeing captives, we must expand the obligations of our religious tradition and fight to free all captives. Not only the Israeli captives who were kidnapped and brought to Gaza on October 7th, but the Palestinian captives who were expelled to Gaza in 1948. Most of the Palestinians in Gaza are descendants of those original refugees, those original captives. And the Palestinians of Gaza remain captive today, held since 2007 in what Human Rights Watch calls an open-air prison. An open-air prison that has now become an open-air grave. There are some in our community who believe that the only way to keep Jews safe is to hold Palestinians in that cage and to periodically turn it into a morgue. It's not true. October 7th proved that it's not true. It's not true because Israeli Jews and Palestinians are bound together in what Martin Luther King called a single garment of destiny. Yes. Israeli Jews will never truly be safe if Palestinians are not safe. And Palestinians will never be safe until they are free. Yes. I don't feel optimism tonight. I've never seen it this dark. But Jews are not commanded to be optimists. We're commanded to have hope and to make that hope manifest in the world. So I hope for the day when there are no more massacres, no more orphans, No more captives. Let us pray for the day when Jews and Palestinians together can celebrate our collective liberation from captivity.
For candle 4, I would invite up Rabbi Rachel Contraster.
My name is Rabbi Rachel Contraster, and I'm a rabbi for a ceasefire. At the beginning of the Torah, the human being is created in God's image. That idea says that every human being is sacred. Sacred from the outset, that being afforded dignity and rights is not something a person receives because of their actions, but that we are all holy, kadosh, from the moment we are born. At times of conflict, upholding that idea can be really challenging. Holding space for everyone's pain, for truly acting with the intention that everyone is created in the divine image is not easy at a moment when it feels easier to justify the idea of one side or another. But we know too easily as a Jewish community what happens when we ignore human dignity and human rights. Sunday is the 75th anniversary of the passage of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was written to cry out against the horrors of the Shoah and all of the horrific civilian casualties of World War II. It begins, in its preamble, it includes this line: "Disregard and contempt for human rights have resulted in barbarous acts which have outraged the conscience of mankind." Well, tonight, our consciences are outraged. We demand a ceasefire. We are called to bring about a world of human sacredness. That is what our call for a ceasefire is, a world of human sacredness. Human rights are not a lofty ideal, but they are the basis of how we must act towards each other. When we look at the horrifying ongoing death and destruction in Gaza, or address the massacre of Israelis on October 7th, we can see all the ways in which dehumanization feeds dehumanization. And conversely, when we see the divine image in everyone, that allows us to fully access our own humanity. So tonight, as we bring the light of Hanukkah into the world, may we see the divine in all human beings, and may we fight for the dignity and human rights of all Palestinians and Israelis. Thank you.
We sing to all those who are captive, to all those who are imprisoned, to all those who are refugees, to all those who are made in the image of the divine. So I'll invite you to sing these words back to me, but you're not actually singing them back to me. You're singing them out to all those who need healing in this time. Number 3 on your song sheets, or just listen and repeat. We sing you healing. We sing you healing. We sing you care. We sing you care. We sing you justice. We sing you justice. We sing you prayer. We sing you
We sing you
justice. We sing your justice. We sing you prayer. We sing your prayer. Sing for healing. Oh, El Narifan Allah, El Narifan Allah. Oh, El Narifan Allah, El Narifan Allah. Oh, El Narifan Allah, El Narifan Allah. Oh, El Narifan Allah, El Narifan
For Candle 5, I'm really honored to invite up Rabbi Ellen Lippman, Rabbi Emerita at Kolot Chayenu in congregation in Brooklyn, as well as Dottie Zellner, who is a lifelong movement leader who was part of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, during the Civil Rights Movement. And alongside her, Nina, a student organizer at Barnard College and member of If Not Now. With this candle, we honor Le Dor Vador, from generation to generation. It's treacherous. It's treacherous.
Yes, it is treacherous. All right.
We're doing it.
I am Rabbi Ellen Lippman, and I am a rabbi for Ceasefire. As Hanukkah arrives, I think of lighting candles as a child with my parents and my brother. And I think of lighting candles with my partner and our daughter when she was a child. Le Dor Vador. From generation to generation, we pass on our traditions. We celebrate holidays, we teach, and we learn. Hanukkah means dedication. So we dedicate this candle to the idea of the generations learning from one another. But what are we teaching? What are we learning? Perhaps the most important teaching I have learned is, as Rabbi Contraster just reminded us, that God created a first human, but Tselem Elohim, in the image of God, and therefore it is said that to destroy a single life is to destroy a world. How can we hold on to that teaching as our people are destroying worlds each and every minute, hour, day, and week? How can we speak of generations as generations are being destroyed? Grandmothers, uncles, teens, and children in Gaza every day. Vengeful retribution for the lost generations killed in Israel. Killing on killing, generations of weapons, knives to bombs. We call for a ceasefire because every life is holy. Every Palestinian child's, every Palestinian grandmother's life, every Jewish teacher's, every Jewish mother's life, every life. We need all the generations. Let us honor tonight every ancestor who stood firm for peace and justice. Let us teach every child to stand firm today. See if I can get that in there again. Yes. I'm going to get some help. Linda's going to help. Oh, I'm definitely. Hello, everyone. I have to say I have my tissues in my hand. I'm going to cry. Sorry.
It's good. Cry.
A few words of history. We were among the young women who jumped out of the window at the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire in 1911. In the 1930s, we took action with our comrades when people were evicted from their homes. When the marshals came and threw all their belongings out on the street, we put them back in. We were in Spain in 1936 fighting the fascists. We fought to the bitter end in the Warsaw Ghetto in 1943. We participated in the Southern Civil Rights Movement and went to Mississippi in 1964.
You did that.
Really did it.
We struggled against the war in Vietnam. We marched with Black Lives Matter. And now, Gaza. We didn't do any of this because we wanted to help anyone. We did it because we want to live in a world of equal rights for all. We will have peace and safety when we have equal rights for everyone in Palestine, Israel. Ceasefire now!
Hi everyone, my name is Nina, and I am a Jewish student in New York City. I'm also a member of If Not Now, a movement of American Jews organizing our community to end U.S. support for Israel's apartheid system and demand equality, justice, and a thriving future for all Palestinians and Israelis. I am honored to be here tonight next to Dorothy Zellner, who spent her whole life fighting for this cause. Her work, along with that of countless other activists, makes me proud to be part of this goldenate, this golden chain of activist tradition. But I am also deeply saddened that after a life of fighting for Palestinian liberation, she still has to stand here today. Despite disappointment, we have to turn to hope. These past few weeks, I have been made hopeful by seeing young Jews who have motivated our communities, stood in solidarity with Palestinian peers, and complicated the mainstream narrative about implicit support for the actions of the Israeli government. At my own university, I have been made hopeful by seeing Jewish students organize to combat the doxing of our peers, create alternative community spaces, and attend protests. And young Jews will not, cannot stop organizing until we see an end to these atrocities. Pirkei Avot teaches us that we are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are we free to abandon it. Right now, young Jews are showing commitment to seeing our portion of this work through. Our work is not over until we see a complete and permanent ceasefire in Gaza and justice for all Palestinians and Israelis. Thank you and happy Hanukkah. May this holiday guide us all to find light in the current darkness and show us that just as a small amount of oil was able to last 8 days, so too can we collectively sustain this movement as long as we need to.
singing to fuel our movement, and we're singing to stay warm. So repeat after me, stomp your feet, wiggle your toes, clap your hands. Courage, courage, my friends, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. Gaza, our friends, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. Ceasefire, my friends, we do not walk alone. We will move together and sing our spirits home. One more time for courage, courage, my friends, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing this ceasefire home, and sing this ceasefire home.
For Candle 6, we're going to be joined by 2 Israeli-American activists. Rabbi Abby Stein, activist, author, and queer girl of trans experience. And Lux.
A freiliche Hanukkah. I'm Abby Stein. I'm a rabbi for Ceasefire. And a member of Jews for Racial and Economic Justice. And some more groups. We'll get to that. A freiliche Hanukkah, we say in Yiddish. A happy Hanukkah. It's the power of a Jewish greeting. We wish happiness even if and when we feel it less. Somehow we know that within all the pain of the past 2 months, well, within all the pain that came for the past 2,000 years with every Hanukkah, we somehow always find a minute to say, Happy Hanukkah, Chanukah Sameach. Ezehu Gibor. Who is powerful? Who is courageous? The rabbis ask in Pirkei Avos. Hakovesh et Yitzro. One who controls his bad inclinations, someone who is slow to anger, and someone who controls his spirit is more powerful than anyone who conquers a city. Right now it feels like our rabbis were screaming at us, screaming at our Jewish community. This is power, not bombs, not destruction. With this 6th candle, we keep that courage. People who dare to dream while we're constantly called naive, but we know we're stronger than that. People who have the courage to dream for a better way forward. Starting with the ceasefire that we know is not out of weakness but out of power of spirit, and moving towards a better tomorrow through peace and justice, freedom and dignity for all. This isn't about us, but at the same time, courage is each and every one of us that are here right now, including so many of us here with Shamash, a group that we just recently came together, groups of Israeli Americans saying that we want a ceasefire because we want what's best for our loved ones, what's best for those who are most dear to us. So many of us, myself included, knew people that were killed on October 7th. All of us know people that have been victims to 75 years cycles of violence. We are here, even though so many of us are losing so much, for daring to speak out. Finally, the courage of so many of us, trans Jews, queer people as a whole, who are here pushing back, refusing to let our identities, to let our struggles be weaponized against people under occupation. To be used to justify so much violence, but rather we are here to share in a vision of hope for a better future for our queer Israeli and Palestinian siblings. May we honor the courage of all those working for an enduring and just peace. May we join in their struggle.
Hello. Oh, thank you. I'm a little bit shorter. My name is Lux Alptrom. I'm a writer and, as was already mentioned, an Israeli American. And I just want to start by saying that so many people who are here right now in this crowd are being so brave tonight. There are people who are worried about their loved ones in Israel and Palestine. There are people who are speaking out against violence, even when it's hard. And there are people who are risking their livelihood and even their lives to fight against an unjust occupation. And I see all of that bravery, and you're brave by being here and being a part of this call for justice. Here's one way that I personally am trying to be brave. I am trying to reject the idea that my people's pain justifies the deadly assault on Gaza. I am the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. I also, as was mentioned, was born in Israel, and so you can probably imagine that the past 2 months have been incredibly painful for me. But I'm also a certified rape crisis counselor. And because of that, I know 3 things. I know that sexual violence and rape are common. I know that minimization and denial of sexual abuse are common. And I know that being told that violence is the only response is also incredibly common. And those things are common all of the time, not just right now. And so it is unsurprising that we have seen them play out in the wake of October 7th. But I also know that responding to violence with more violence only creates more suffering for everyone. We can and must extend empathy and compassion to Israeli victims and survivors and reject anti-Palestinian propaganda that uses racist tropes to justify and rally support for bombing and starving 2 million Palestinians and inflicting more gender-based violence on Palestinian women. Our feminist and anti-war and Jewish values demand that we believe the accounts from credible sources of sexual violence against Israelis on October 7th, and also against Palestinians in Israeli prisons before and since October 7th. Our values demand that we do not look away from the uncomfortable realities of pervasive sexual abuse. And those same values demand not just a ceasefire, but a world where Palestinians are also free from sexual violence, ethnic cleansing, and occupation. These principles and courage will lead us to a better future, free from occupation, where we can heal and transform the way that Israelis and Palestinians live together. Thank you so much.
For Candle 7, I'm honored to invite up Rabbi Miriam Grossman. And alongside her, a woman who needs no introduction. The incomparable Palestinian Muslim American organizer from Brooklyn, Linda Sarsour.
Thank you. This candle will be for hope. On Hanukkah, Jewish people tell a story of a time when our ancestors entered a desecrated temple. They lit the great menorah without enough oil, not knowing what would happen next, not knowing how they would fulfill their sacred obligation. They lit it anyway. And through that action came a miracle. And the flames kept burning, and the people kept going. How do we keep going? How do we keep going for Gaza? How do we keep going for mutual safety for all Palestinians and Israelis? How do we keep going for all of us here? How do we keep the flame of our shared humanity alive? We act. We act and we do not wait for hope. We act and our actions draw hope closer back to us. Together, we mourn the brutal murders of 1,200 Israelis and the kidnapping of 240 hostages. And we grieve the horrifying mass murder of over 17,000 Palestinians in Gaza, which includes, unspeakably, over 7,000 children. We are horrified by Israel's brutal siege, denying children food and water, and by decades of occupation and dispossession done in our name. Hope might feel far, but we are bound to one another to keep going. As was already said tonight, our Jewish tradition teaches in Pirkei Avot, it is not upon you to finish the work, nor are you free to abandon it. It is not on any one of us alone. We act collectively for our shared liberation, and no one of us is free to abandon that work, because no one of us will ever abandon each other. As Jewish people, we will never abandon our ancestors and their stories of oppression and survival. We will never abandon our Israeli friends and families, and we will never abandon the Palestinian people. That includes our own Palestinian loved ones, and so far beyond that includes everyone. I don't always feel hope. I don't feel hope every day. What I feel is love and obligation to my own Jewish child, and love and obligation to the children of my Palestinian friends who live in Abu Dis and Azariah. And from that place, the only choice is to fight for mutual lasting safety and to never, ever give up. So we fight the war, and fight to end the occupation, and fight to end apartheid together. May we act together, and may we each all together draw hope towards us through action, through solidarity, and through love. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. I haven't had many words in the last 2 months. And when I do find them, they come through tears and through grief and through rage. I came here today and I brought with me my Palestinian mother. My great-grandparents and grandparents went through 1948. My parents lived through 1967 and decades of occupation. And here I am, their Palestinian American daughter, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, that is watching the genocide of my people through a smartphone, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I am also on a journey seeking hope and seeking light. And I want my Jewish family to know that you have been light. You have been light for all of us. And I know it's not easy speaking up against violence, demanding a ceasefire, against powerful entities working to silence you, to vilify you, and to tell you what you care about and what you don't care about. But what I will tell you is that you are a people of courage, and that in this moment what is lit in you is compassion. It is love. It is the belief that you will not sit idly by while people are being mass murdered in your name. When it gets hard, I want you to know that I see you, and I love you, and I respect you, and want you to know that I will always be by your side. And not only do we resist those who cheer on war and who cheer on the mass murder of Palestinians, we resist those who want to divide our communities, those who want to convince Jews that when Palestinians call for freedom, that somehow my freedom means that you don't have freedom. That when I say that I want my people to live with full dignity and safety, that somehow that means that you don't get to live with full dignity and safety. I want you to reject that, to resist that. Because we are all we got. We are all we got. Don't you ever believe in any place in history have those in power ever been in place to protect people like us? That has never happened. It has never occurred. It is only us. We will protect one another. It has always been neighbors who have protected one another. It has always been families that have protected one another, the shopkeepers that have protected us. So I want you to know that you got to keep going. You got to keep moving forward. And don't leave us after a ceasefire, because that ceasefire will come. This military solution can't go on too long. And so after ceasefire, I want to be with the rabbis to end the occupation. I want to be with the rabbis to lift the blockade on Gaza. I want to be with the rabbis that believe in coexistence. And I will say this on behalf of my Palestinian great-grandparents who lived long before 1948, that I promise you that the Palestinian people, we know coexistence. We know what it means to live in harmony with our Jewish neighbors, because we lived it before 1948. So let's be clear-eyed. Let us reject the propaganda, and let us continue to organize in solidarity. And when I don't find words, I look for the words of others. And I will share with you before I part you here. These are the words of Leela Watson, an Aboriginal activist. And she said, "If you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come here because you believe that your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together." May we all continue to be candles that shine bright through this darkness, because one day the light will come and it will be because of us.
So we're ending with our last candle soon. And before we do want to give a minute for the different organizations who've brought us here tonight to invite you into what's coming next. So if you're one of the people from those organizations who's going to say, come forward. All right, here comes Audrey Sasson, the Executive Director of Jews for Racial Economic Justice.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm supposed to make an announcement about what's coming next. What's coming next is that we have to keep going. What's coming next is that if this is your first ceasefire action, welcome. If this is your 60th, because we've been in the streets every day for the last 2 months, then thank you. And I want to just say that we cannot let the despair set in. We cannot look away. Every single day that passes, the devastation that is wreaked on Gaza is just too much to bear. And so I am so proud to be in community with all of you. And I know that for every single one of you, the hard conversations that you're having with your neighbors, your loved ones, your family members, whoever it is, bring one person to the next action, bring another one to the next. We have to get louder. We cannot get complacent. This is not enough. Shut it down. And so from Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, which I am so proud and humbled to be leading, we are so grateful. I want to say thank God for Rabbis for Ceasefire. I want to say thank you to JVP, and if not now, and Shoresh, and everyone who is out in the streets. And I want to invite you to join JFridge as a member. We organize in very decentralized way. You can find your neighbors. You can organize locally. We have neighborhood groups. Just go to Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, jfridge.org. We will plug you in, I promise. And when this is over, the world that we are building at JFridge is inspired by this idea we love to call diasporism. Radical diasporism. And that is the idea that we will build safety and freedom for ourselves and our communities and our neighbors by not through ethno-nationalism, not through borders and militarism, that we will do it through being in community with each other and with our neighbors wherever it is that we live. And right now that is here in New York City. So join us. We have a world to build. And that is that. Everyone for everyone. Yalla, let's go.
Hi everyone again. I spoke earlier and now I'm going to speak on behalf of If Not Now. As I said earlier, If Not Now is a movement of American Jews organizing our community to end U.S. support for Israel's apartheid system and demand equality, justice, and a thriving future for all Palestinians and Israelis. I will say, If Not Now has been a group that has brought me immense hope in the past days, being in community with other people who believe that our safety cannot be contingent on the subjugation of Palestinians. And I want to reiterate everything that was just said. We have to keep going. And so I want to invite everyone to join our next action, which will be right here in Columbus Circle on the last night of Hanukkah. So that'll be Thursday the 14th, and we'll be gathering in community again, this time demanding that Congressman Jerry Nadler, shame, oh my God, shame. Congressman Jerry Nadler represents District 12, the district that we're in right now. We're going to be demanding that he support a ceasefire now. More than ever, we need our Jewish members of Congress to stand on the side of justice for all Palestinians and Israelis. And this means calling for a ceasefire and for the US government to stop funding this war. So we have an SMS short code that you can text if you want to get involved. That is, if not now, to 88504. I'll repeat that again if you want to pull out your phone. You text if not now, all capital letters, no spaces, to 88504. Thank you so much, everyone. It is wonderful to be in community with you. We will need it as we keep fighting for this.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Ceasefire now!
Ceasefire now!
Ceasefire now! Hi all, I'll be really fast. I know everybody's cold. My name is Tal. I'm a member leader with Jewish Voice for Peace. Jewish Voice for Peace is the largest Jewish anti-Zionist organization in the world. Fighting every day alongside Palestinians for Palestinian liberation and fighting for a ceasefire right now. So, I've been trying to think about this moment and darkness and this little song from Hanukkah called Banu Choshech, and how it feels impossible to think of light coming from this darkness, and how it feels so isolating to be an anti-Zionist Jew or to be a Jew for Palestinian freedom. But we are each a little light, and together we are a strong light. And I'm also holding the words of the Palestinian-American poet Hala Alyan, her demand in this time that we owe Gaza our endurance. Yes. And I add that we owe Gaza our hope and our belief in miracles, and we must continue to believe that the miracle of ceasefire will happen and that liberation for the Palestinian people will happen. And we are committed to continuing to engage in action from a place of everlasting hope. So with that, I invite you to continue daily in the struggle for ceasefire, to continue to call your representatives, to join Jewish Voice for Peace in our daily 3 p.m. power hours. If you are nervous about calling your representative, you can do this in community. Join us for power hour. And also, heed the call of Palestinian organizers in New York. I want to uplift the action of Palestinian Youth Movement tomorrow, one of our partners, to shut it down, as somebody in the crowd said, shut it down. Shut it down. 3 p.m. in Foley Square tomorrow with PYM. And if you're looking for ways to plug into JVP, you can follow JVPNY on Instagram. You can find me after this. We owe Gaza our endurance. We owe them our light. We demand a ceasefire. We demand this miracle. Thanks, guys.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! So we will now close with the final intention for the last night of Hanukkah, looking forward. But each of these also resonate today. So the final kavanah will be given by Rabbi Dr. Bara Elman, and will be in honor of all those who we've lost.
Good evening. I know it's cold, but we're all here, and I'm here. I'm Bara Elman. I'm a rabbi for Ceasefire. Zikrono Levracha. May his or her memory be for a blessing. This is what we say to a mourner. May you remember with warmth and joy your deceased loved one. Is it possible to remember thousands of people, thousands of lives, thousands of talents and potentials? The scale is too great. What we can do is honor them. We honor the memories of every Israeli and Palestinian who has been killed in this most recent, catastrophic, horrifying conflict, and in the conflicts that have gone on over the past 70 years. We mourn all these lives deeply, each precious life that was a world unto itself. As the death toll in Gaza rises and grows more massive, and the number of dead children exceeds even unbearable levels, we call for a political solution rather than more bombing. May the memories of every person killed be a blessing to all who loved them, and may we honor their memories by asking for a lasting peace and for justice. Zikuno Livracha, memory is a blessing. Our collective memories are the foundation of community and identity. They include trauma as well as joy, coexistence as well as hostility. 2 months to the day after a trauma that will be inscribed in the collective memory of Israel, we pray that it be balanced with recognition and compassion for the traumatic memories being created in Gaza as we stand here. Even more, we pray that we will soon and speedily collect collective memories for all of us that will be a source of blessing. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be.
We will now close by reciting Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. You can find it on the song sheet and the blessing sheet that you have. Afterwards, we will sing ourselves out, and we have a little Hanukkah gift for each of you. We have printed the poster that you see here for each of you to put the light of Ceasefire in your window. That is the obligation of this time, is to publicize our demand. So please, as you leave, we're going to be passing out this little gift, and we invite you to put it in your window during the holiday of Hanukkah.
Yitzgadal,
Yitzgadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Tivrach Yirtei Ve'amlich Malchutei, B'chayechon Uvyomechon Uv'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'adala Uv'izman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Olamei Amaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitroman V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Dekudasha B'richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Damiran V'alma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'al Kol Yishmael V'imru Amen.
Oseh Shalom
B'mromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Oseh Shalom B'mromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom
no one can hold back the dawn. Light is returning, even though this is the darkest hour, no one can